Hi, my name is Sharon Fialkovich. I'm from the Connecticut Veterans Legal Center. Our office has prepared a couple of videos to share with the veterans for Stand Down. They cover 3 different topics that we thought were interesting and helpful, and we ask that you save questions until the end. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashley Backman, and I am the Intake Attorney and Pro Bono Program Manager at the Connecticut Veterans Legal Center. I would like to thank Commissioner Sadi, Chuck Leone, and Leslie Nieves for inviting us here to talk to you about the Connecticut Veterans Legal Center and what we do for disabled veterans. CTVLC's mission is to help veterans recovering from homelessness and mental illness overcome legal barriers to housing, healthcare, and income. Our legal team is unique because we are a medical legal partnership and we are co-located with clinicians, caseworkers, and social workers at the Aurora Community Care Center, the Newington facility, and right here in Rocky Hill. We prioritize assisting veterans who are referred by their VA or mental health clinician or Rocky Hill social worker, and the attorneys work closely with these clinicians and social workers throughout representation. CTVLC offers a variety of legal assistance. Some of our larger areas of focus include VA benefits, specifically access to healthcare, claims and appeals. We also help with landlord-tenant and housing cases, public benefits and assistance claims, estate and probate matters, and discharge upgrades, also known as bad paper discharges. If your legal question is outside of the scope of these areas, we still encourage you to contact us for possible resources or referral information. If you find that you or a fellow veteran are in need of legal assistance or have any questions regarding a recent legal issue, please don't hesitate to reach out. Referral forms can be found on our website, ctveteranslegal.org, or speak to your clinician or social worker. Veterans, clinicians, and social workers can also reach out to directly on our intake line, which is 203-479-0375. During the screening process, you will be asked simple questions regarding your legal issue, the best way to contact you, and an overview of your income sources. Now you're going to hear from a couple of our attorneys about more details into the legal process and ways you can help yourself through that.
Hi, my name is Millie Vandenbroek, and I'm a discharge upgrade attorney with the Connecticut Veterans Legal Center. And I'm going to take about 10 minutes to talk to you about discharge upgrade, hopefully give you some helpful information about the process and some important things to know. When I refer to discharge upgrade, I'm talking about the Department of Defense's process for changing your military record. You may hear other veterans talking about discharge upgrade or getting their honorable. And when people talk about that, sometimes they're talking about a related or similar process with the Veterans Administration called the Character of Discharge Determination. That is the process that the VA uses to decide whether a less than honorably discharged veteran has service that is considered honorable for VA purposes. But what I'm talking about in this short clip about discharge upgrade is a separate process. It's the DOD's process for issuing you new and corrected paperwork. If you win a case with the VA and your service is considered honorable for VA purposes through the VA process, that doesn't mean that you win the Department of Defense process, and it doesn't mean that you get a new DD-214. The only way to get that new document is to go to the DOD. On the other hand, if you do go through discharge upgrade at the DOD and you win, that winning result at the DOD trumps or controls what the VA does with your case. So if you get a brand new honorable character of service on a DD-214 through the DOD, then that controls what the VA's result in your VA matter. There are a couple other differences between the DoD process and the COD process that I want to identify here. But before I do that, I just want to say that we have a character of discharge specialist, Chelsea Donaldson, an attorney with CTVLC, who's making another video that I encourage you to watch for more detail about the COD side of things. One other thing I do want to say, though, is that in order to access GI Bill benefits, you need to have a fully honorable character of service on your DD 214. And the only way to get that, if you don't have that already, is to go through Department of Defense. Keep in mind that many GI Bill benefits have a expiration for how long they're available to you after you are discharged. So it's important, if you are pursuing discharge upgrade in order to get GI Bill benefits, to be aware that time is of the essence and you should pursue it soon. Because Department of Defense can issue new paperwork, and they have the power to change a lot of different aspects of your paperwork, there are other kinds of cases other than changing your character of service that you might want to go to Department of Defense for. One example is your DD 214 says homosexual conduct on it, and you were discharged under Don't Ask, Don't Tell before that law was repealed. That's the kind of language that DoD has the power to remove and issue you a new set of paperwork without that language on it. So the process with the DoD, they can do a lot of things to change your paperwork through that process. In terms of the basic legal standards that apply to discharge upgrade cases and what makes the case successful, a veteran needs to show that there was either an error in why they got the character of service that they did, or that there's an injustice in them having that character of service. Not all boards use those exact words, but those are the two basic concepts, error and injustice. So if something happened to you, if your discharge is the result of PTSD starting in service because of military sexual trauma or combat, or if you developed mental illness because of service, and that led to the behavior that led to your discharge, and what happened to you and the condition that you have mitigates the discharge, that might be an example of a case based on justice. Another example would be, we're aware that there is racial discrimination as well as other forms of discrimination that happen in the military, and that applies to your case. That could be the basis for a discharge upgrade petition. So the two main concepts are justice and error. And an error would be if the military didn't follow its own rules when they discharged them. And it's important to note too that if you do have a condition like PTSD or other mental illness stemming from service, and it is found to have affected your discharge or mitigated the discharge, then the Department of Defense is supposed to go easier on your case. They're supposed to use what's called liberal consideration. So if those are factors for you, we really encourage you to give us a call and talk about whether discharge upgrade might be the right fit for you. A couple more pieces of information about the process in general. People sometimes go to the Department of Defense website and download the form to apply for discharge upgrade and just send it in without more information. Doing it that way really is not a recipe for success most of the time. Um, it's not easy to win these cases, and we found that it really gives veterans the best shot if they have the opportunity to pull together evidence like character statements, buddy statements from people they served alongside, medical records, if you have a service connection finding, record of that, other excerpts from your military file, and pulling all of that together and also making a legal argument too, about why your case merits an upgrade. So it's really tough to do all of that without a lawyer. So the bottom line is um, these cases are tough to win without legal help, and we encourage you to seek legal help. If we can't help you directly, then we will do our very best to connect you with another organization that can, or to give you other resources that might help you in the process. A couple pieces of information on deadlines. There are two types of boards that rule on these cases, and there's a set of these two types of boards within each service branch, and the Marines and the Navy are combined into one set of boards. So if you're in the Air Force, there is an Air Force Discharge Review Board and an Air Force Board of Correction for Military Records. Same two boards exist for the other branches as well. The DRBs have a strict 15-year deadline from the date of your discharge. You have the right to a personal hearing at a discharge review board. Many times veterans will opt to have their case reviewed without a personal hearing first, and then if they lose, go back and ask for the personal hearing. By doing that, you get 2 bites at the apple at the DRB. As long as you do all of that within 15 years, you can access both bites at the apple. The Board of Correction for Military Records has a 3-year waivable deadline from the date of discovery of the error or injustice. The board waives that deadline if they find that it's in the interest of justice to do so. And which board you go to in general depends on a bunch of different factors. It depends on what correction you're asking them to make, what type of discharge you have, and when you were discharged. That's a lot to sort through, and that also is something that a lawyer can help you sort through. So again, call us if you want to talk through which board might be the right one for you to go to. One example of that is that if your discharge was the result of a general court-martial, the Discharge Review Board doesn't have the power to change your character of service. You have to go directly to the DCMR, and that's just one example. So just a couple questions that I want to wrap up with. In deciding whether to do a discharge upgrade case, because it is a lot of work and it is a long process, usually the board takes between 12 and 18 months to make a decision after receiving a case. We really like to talk with our clients about why they want a discharge upgrade. If it's because you want access to VA benefits, if that's really what's driving it, you may want to consider going through the VA's character of discharge determination process first. If you haven't tried that yet, that might be a faster way to go. If on the other hand, you've gone through the COD process and lost, or you're stuck in an endless loop of appeals with the character of discharge, then discharge upgrade with the COD might be the right step. If it's because you need the fully honorable discharge in order to access the GI Bill, you're going to need to go through Department of Defense for that. And then putting aside all the questions of benefits and access to healthcare and all those pieces, many of the clients that we work with are really looking for the removal of a less than honorable discharge for purposes of dignity and fairness and justice. And those are also really legitimate and important considerations. And just a quick word on that. really a privilege to get to do these kinds of cases for me personally, and we welcome the chance to talk to veterans about their discharge upgrade interests. And at CVLC, we believe that all veterans are already honorable. So please do give us a call, and thanks for listening.
Hello, my name is Chelsea Donaldson, and I'm an attorney at the Connecticut Veterans Legal Center. At CVLC, my day-to-day includes representing survivors of military sexual trauma in VA benefits cases, and also working on access to healthcare issues at VA. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about access to healthcare at VA and the character of discharge process. It's my hope that in the next 5 to 10 minutes, we cover the following issues. 1, why do I want to go through VA's character of discharge process? 2, a little bit of information about the process and the rights that you have during the COD process. And 3, how to access VA healthcare without going through the COD process. Now, the first question that you're probably asking yourself is, why should I get a character of discharge determination from VA, or to keep it a little shorter, a COD? Now, you may know that the type of discharge that you have has a direct bearing on what type of benefits you receive. This includes access to VA benefits and VA healthcare. The military issues 5 different types of discharges: honorable, general under honorable, other than honorable, bad conduct, and dishonorable. However, VA characterizes discharges in 2 different ways: honorable for VA purposes and dishonorable for VA purposes. If you have an honorable or a general under honorable discharge from the military, you are automatically considered honorable for VA purposes. However, if a veteran possesses an other than honorable, bad conduct, or dishonorable discharge, the VA must make a determination as to whether the veteran's discharge is honorable for VA purposes. Going through the COD process can determine you honorable for VA purposes, even if you have a bad paper discharge. Being considered honorable for VA purposes opens the door to a lot of benefits, including service-connected compensation. Now, while going through the COD process can consider you honorable for VA purposes and open the door to benefits like service-connected compensation and VA healthcare, this process does not change your DD-214. The only way to do that is to request a discharge upgrade from the Department of Defense. So, now that we know that you can get a COD from VA in order to be found honorable for VA purposes, the next question you're probably asking is, okay, so how do I get one? Now, VA is famous for their forms. They come in many different shapes and sizes, but there is no form available for asking for a COD determination. The only way to trigger the COD process at the moment is by an application for benefits, either service connection or a home loan or even an application for healthcare. VA, upon receiving your application for the benefit, automatically triggers the COD process if you have a discharge that requires it. So, during this process, you have some rights that you should know about. First and foremost, you have the right to have a representative throughout this process if you choose to have one. 2, you have the right to a hearing during the COD process. You have the right to submit evidence in favor of your COD, essentially putting forth the argument to VA, yes, I do have bad paper from the military, but here's some context as to why, and here's why you should consider me honorable for VA purposes. You have the right to explain to VA about the circumstances of your discharge and submit all of that evidence on your behalf, both at the hearing and after. Even if VA argues initially that they feel that they have a bar to benefits that blocks you from being honorable for VA purposes, you still have the opportunity to explain to VA why that specific bar does not apply to you. For example, perhaps you're a veteran who experienced military sexual trauma while on active duty. After the assault, you suffered a mental health crisis, which resulted in a series of misconducts that caused the service to issue an other than honorable discharge. The context of your discharge may be something that you would like to tell VA about, and you have the opportunity to do so in the COD process. The various bars to benefits and navigating the COD process might seem intimidating, but we are here to help you if you have questions. Give us a call if you need assistance or have any questions about the process. Finally, you may be in need of immediate treatment now, and you may not be able to wait the 6 to 12 months for VA to make a determination on your discharge. So what if you haven't gone through the process and you need mental health treatment today? Every single veteran, regardless of what it says on their DD-214, has the right to apply for health care at VA. VA must accept your application and process it in order to determine your eligibility, which includes the COD process. Further, if you need mental health treatment and cannot wait for the COD process to be finished, you may qualify for free treatment underneath the Honor Our Commitment Act. Underneath the Honor Our Commitment Act, a veteran who is in mental health crisis, has PTSD due to combat, or is a military sexual trauma survivor is entitled to free mental health treatment at VA, regardless of the status of their discharge. In order to access this benefit and access the mental health treatment that you may be entitled to, you must tell VA that you need mental health treatment because you are experiencing a mental health crisis, that you need mental health treatment due to being a combat veteran, or that you need mental health treatment due to being a military sexual trauma survivor. You do not need to go into details about your trauma at the eligibility desk. You only have to say that you need mental health treatment due to one of those categories that I mentioned. No matter what, you should not leave VA without an opportunity to apply for benefits. It is your right to apply for health care, regardless of what it says on your DD-214. If you feel that you have been illegally turned away by VA after seeking health care due to the status of your discharge, give us a call. So, to end, the COD process could give you the opportunity to obtain VA benefits that otherwise would not be available due to the status of your discharge. It's an opportunity to increase your income, access health care, and other benefits only available to veterans with honorable for VA purposes discharges. CVLC is here to assist you if you have any questions about this process. Always feel free to reach out if you need us. We're here to help you. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Before I start today's discussion on MST, I wanted to warn you that this video is going to contain mentions of sexual assault, sexual harassment, rape, and military sexual trauma. So if you need to take a break before you watch this video, please do so. I promise that I'm going to be here when you're ready to have this discussion. So, as my introduction might have alluded, this video is about military sexual trauma. And my hope is that I'm going to be able to answer the following questions for you. 1, what is military sexual trauma? 2, can I get service connected for military sexual trauma? And 3, can I get mental health treatment for military sexual trauma? Now, the first question is something that I get asked by my clients at CVLC almost every single day, which is, what is military sexual trauma? Now, the definition of military sexual trauma, or MST for short, is very, very broad. MST is the term used to describe sexual assault or sexual harassment during military service. It can include everything from sexual hazing during boot camp, sexual comments about your body from a fellow soldier, or sexual assault on or off base. MST doesn't only happen to women. While women statistically are more likely to experience MST during service, men can experience MST too. MST can happen to anyone, regardless of gender identity or sexual orientation. If you've experienced MST, please know that you are definitely not alone in your experience, and there are people out there to help you. In that same vein, the second question that I get asked by my clients who see me at CVLC is, can I get service connected for military sexual trauma? And the answer is yes. Technically speaking, there is no such thing as service connection for MST. However, you can get service connected for the disabilities that you've sustained because you have experienced MST. So let's try that in an example. Let's say you're a veteran who served in the Army, and while you were on base, you were sexually assaulted. As a result of that sexual assault, you now struggle from post-traumatic stress disorder, which affects your day-to-day life today. So, in that example, you could be service-connected for post-traumatic stress disorder due to military sexual trauma. Please know that if you do not have an honorable discharge from the military, you may need to undergo VA's character of discharge process in order to receive service-connected compensation. You can refer to my video on character of discharge if you want to know a little bit more about how that process works. Finally, the third issue that I encounter with my clients at CVLC is, can I get mental health treatment for military sexual trauma? And the answer is absolutely yes. There are so many resources available to help veterans who have survived MST at VA. And if you are an MST survivor, you are entitled to free mental health treatment from VA, regardless of the status of your discharge. Under the Honor Our Commitment Act, a veteran, even if you have an other than honorable discharge, can seek free mental health treatment indefinitely from VA if you are a military sexual trauma survivor. Now, you do need to declare that you are an MST survivor to VA eligibility in order to access this benefit. However, you do not have to go into the details of your trauma, nor do you have to prove that the MST happened. You only have to say that you are an MST survivor and that you would like mental health treatment. No matter what, you should never leave the VA hospital without an opportunity to apply for health care. If you feel that you have been illegally turned away by VA after seeking mental health treatment or health care, give us a call. We're here to help you. I wanted to end this video with a reassurance that there are people out there to help you. Surviving something as horrific as military sexual trauma can feel very isolating. As I mentioned earlier, sexual violence can happen to absolutely anyone, regardless of gender identity or sexual orientation. You are not alone in this, and we are here to help you. So give us a call if you have questions, concerns, or want to know your options. We're here to support you.
So that concludes our video presentation from the Connecticut Veterans Legal Center. And I can answer any questions. I'm not sure if anyone is here for our presentation, and I also can't tell. Let me close, stop sharing. Okay. And I can't answer any direct legal questions, but certainly you can give us a call if you have a specific legal question that you would like to reach out to us about. But other than that, that's our presentation.
Okay, thanks Sharon so much for being a part of Stand Down and for providing your services and everything that you do for veterans. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna stop recording.